Students, now I'm going to talk about SRIP. SRIP is a pizza-based market technique. Here, SRIP means sequence-related amplified polymorphism. Here, we are considering sequence-related regions within the genome. That means open reading frames within the genome. I think you all know about these open reading frames. Open reading frames are a series of codons coming after an initiation codon and ends with a stop codon. This is known as open reading frames. So here in this case of SRAB, we are targeting these open reading frames. So I have already told you that this is a PCA-based technique. So for targeting these open reading frames, we need to construct primers or primers. That means a forward primer and a reverse primer that can recognize these open reading frames. Here, definitely we are not going to prepare a sequence specific primer sets because we are not going to target a specific open reading frame, but instead we are going to target most of the open reading frames within the genome. So we have to construct the primer sets in a common pattern. Primer sets may be arbitrary in nature. The length may be around 20 nucleotide length. So we can go to the common design of a primer, SRIP primer. Here, this is the forward primer and this is the reverse primer. Starting from 5 prime to 3 prime in a SRIP primer. Here we having a filler sequence of 10 nucleotide length, and after that a co-sequence of around 4 to 5 nucleotide length, and after that a selective nucleotide region of around 3 to 4 nucleotide length. Coming back to the filler sequence, this can be of any nucleotide. That means here we don't have any specific constitution. That's why here it indicates that N. That means it can be of any nucleotide. And after that, a co-sequence having CG-rich region in the forward primer and a reverse primer that may be designed with the AT-rich region within the core region. Okay, that means in the case of forward primer, the core region that is constructed with the CG-rich region, and in the reverse primer, in the core region, it is constructed with the AT-rich region. And after that, a 3 nucleotide length selective nucleotide region. Okay, so in both forward and reverse primer, it may have a filler sequence, then a core sequence, and a selective nucleotide regions. The difference between forward and reverse primer is especially lies in the core regions. That is, one may be designed with the CG-rich region and another designed with AT-rich region. We constructed primer sets like this. So for that, we need to get to know the picture of a typical gene. This is a schematic representation of a typical gene. I think you all know that a gene may having a promoter region, and after that initiation codon, then a series of codons ends with a stop codon, and thereafter polyadenylation sequence. So coming back to the promoter region, in the case of eukaryotes, can be constructed with the GC box, cat box, or Tata box at various positions. GC box and cat box regions are known as the proximal control elements, and the Tata box and the region up to initiation codon, it is known as co-promoter region. So here you can see that this GC box having a CG-rich region, and after that in the Tata box region, here it may be constructed with the AT-rich region. So we have designed the forward primer with the GC rich region. So it can recognize a region somewhere here in the GC box region. The reverse primer, we have known that the core region may be considered with the AT rich region. So it can detect the region somewhere here in the data box or AT rich regions within the promoter. So one of the primer may recognize somewhere here and another primer may recognize somewhere here. So while we carry out the PCR reactions, we may get an amplified product starting from here to here. Sometimes this reverse primer may be designed to recognize these top codon regions. If so, the forward may bind somewhere here and the reverse may bind somewhere here. Then you will get an amplified product starting from here to here. Coming to the PCR reaction, we have to carry out the PCR reactions in such a way that for the first few cycles, we need to bring the annealing temperature down at around 35 degrees Celsius, and after that you can increase it up to 50 degrees Celsius. You know why? We can go back to the previous picture here. I have already told you that the primer sets we have already designed is arbitrary in nature. That if you run the PCR reactions at optimal temperature, optimal annealing temperature, then these primer set may not bind at the target's regions. Suppose if you run the PCR reactions at around 54 degrees Celsius, that means annealing temperature at around 54 degrees SRP. At that temperature, these SRAP primers may not bind at the target sequences. To bring the temperature down, then these primer sets may bind at the target sequences. That's why I have told you that you have to carry out the first few PCR reactions with the lower annealing temperature, and thereafter that you can increase the temperature up. During the lower annealing reactions, these primer sets may bind at their target sequence with lower sequence similarities. It may not be possible at higher annealing temperatures. So for fire reactions, you will get lesser number of amplified product. And after these fire reactions, you are increasing the annealing temperature up. During that time, these forward and reverse primers may interact with these amplified products with high sequence specificity. And once the PCR reaction is over, you have to load the sample on gel, and then after that you will get a pattern in the gel, and that pattern need to be compared with the patterns of other organisms. Then you can realize or recognize that this pattern may be different with different organisms.